Sean Hurwitz is the CEO of a company called Pixo. They're doing some really interesting work with virtual reality. In fact, Ford Motor Company is using it to train technicians on how to work on the all-new electric Mustang Mach-E that's coming out later. And Sean, I got to say, it's really interesting to learn all about Pixo. Thanks for taking the time to talk with me today.
Thank you, John. Thanks for having me on.
Let's dive into a little bit of what Ford's doing right now, and we can get into some of the other things. But I mean, here's a vehicle that is not even in production yet. How are they using your technology to train techs on how to service this?
Well, yes, that's a great point. We are working with Bosch, and Bosch is helping us integrate it in with Ford. You know, Pixo is a 10-year-old company. We started out in developing virtual reality content. Quickly realizing the value of immersing someone in such an interactive experience like technicians or mechanics. And just by putting on the headset, you could really save time, money, and even lives when you're simulating very dangerous concepts or training. So we have also launched a cloud-based platform that allows the users to access, distribute, and manage this content. If you think of Bosch and you think of Ford and how many technicians or how many users and how many training centers and how many dealers globally, then you also need something to access and manage that content as well. So that's Pixo's past, yeah.
Yeah, let's go back to the saving lives part, because one of the things Ford specifically is using this on is training techs on how to deal with high voltage systems in electric vehicles. You don't want to do a mistake in the real world. I guess the virtual world might be a little bit easier on you.
Well, no question. And that hits the bullseye of why we thought training was the first sector that we would go after. Being able to simulate these dangerous, like high voltage technical training, better to be caught doing something wrong virtually than actually in real life. And on pixovr.com, on our website, there's other examples of how we're using it in the gas industry, in the first responder industry. You know, having firefighters experience what a fire would be like prior to actually being in that environment is much safer, like you said.
Yeah, let's go back to the VR goggles themselves. My understanding is they're Oculus goggles that is now part of Facebook.
Yes, Oculus was bought by Facebook around 2016. Is really when Pixo decided to, you know, move all chips into virtual reality, as Facebook doesn't do anything by accident. And we there's other headsets too. So we provide access to the content from any headsets. The Oculus Quest, which is a standalone headset, so it's untethered from a computer. You know, headsets are getting cheaper. Headsets are getting smaller. We also provide access from a desktop. So if you use our multi-participant functionality, where you could have dozens of people in the same environment at the same time, meaning if Ford releases this timing belt on the F-150 engine that they they announced at NADA this year, you could have somebody enter from a desktop, you could have somebody enter from a headset, and all interact in the same environment at the same time.
Go back to that about using a laptop or a desktop computer, because that's an important part, I think. You don't just need the VR goggles.
That's right. There may be some that don't have a headset. Now, the most immersive 3D environment is going to be in the goggles, but we knew, because our model is like Netflix, where you subscription based and people can access the content anywhere, anytime. So we also have to address that any type of headset or any type of hardware as well. So if somebody's sitting at a desktop, they can also access, enter, and even interact in the 3D environments.
Yeah, you mentioned Bosch, and Bosch working with Ford, and you guys working with Bosch. What's your connection with Bosch, and how did that all come about?
Well, I'll give Bosch a lot of credit. They're very innovative. They're in the training space, specifically for OEs in this case, and manufacturers. And they came to us early on. This was probably 18, 24 months ago, and we started working together on how this would work for an auto manufacturer. So we've worked very closely with them. We're the software support for them. they're the subject matter experts on the training, on the engines, on the tools, and of course Ford is their client.
Yeah. What I find fascinating is Pixo is located in Royal Oak, Michigan. I'd have expected it in Silicon Valley or Boston or some other high-tech hub. Why the Detroit area?
Well, certainly Detroit's growing into more of a high-tech hub, but we're all from here. We live here. There's a lot of talent here. 3D and 3D environments and using game engines is what we use is not new to Michigan. This particular use case and platform is new to everybody. So we're happy and proud to be locally based here in Royal Oak. Even recently, we got some funding, which we'll announce soon, from a Silicon Valley giant. So it's good to bring that West Coast money here to our city.
That's great to hear. Sean, where do you see this all going? I mean, we've been talking about automotive. You've brought up a couple of other cases. Talk a little bit about the total market and where you see this tech going.
Well, anywhere where you want to simulate real life. Even recently, we've been working on some COVID pandemic response modules where you can simulate and help train how to clean, how a virus could potentially spread. So I think every industry in the near term will use virtual reality, or at least extended reality, in one way, shape, or form, because it's been proven not only through active learning, but it reduces cost and potentially save lives, which fits right into the mission of Pixo.
Yeah. Fascinating technology. I think there's a lot of applications out there that we probably haven't even thought of yet that you guys are going to be trying to figure out where you can put a business case together.
That we are. It's taken years to get to this point, but I think we're hitting that hockey stick, as they say.
Real good. Sean Hurwitz, thanks so much for taking the time to talk with me today.
Thanks, John. Thanks for having me on.